Greetings and welcome to Matrix Revealed presentation 36. First part of this presentation is following a request to show the garden, which is 180 foot or 60 meters long. I think I calculated it as. And I have plenty of photos and earlier videos in the summer, so it's a nice contrast to look at the sometimes overlooked beauty of winter and save the cut branches, and these get used. This garden is very much all about recycling, so for example this rose bush, that's what some of the cut branches get turned into posts. And then we have miniature maple trees. I think they've hopefully survived the winter. Mustn't forget the pond. I would recommend, if you have space, do have a pond. It's a great way of encouraging magical things like dragonflies. I had one land on my hand, just sat there last year in the summer. So it's trying to work in harmony with nature. Let's find. We've gone for experimenting with the square foot gardening, which is less back-breaking, and to make a privacy screen, cherry tree branches crisscrossed, use 5 upright posts, and then you weave the other ones in. Now the last video was inspired, or well, not so much inspired, but part of the information came just by looking down the garden and this maple tree, which was planted about 1984. So this is the very end of the garden. Probably doesn't show up very well. And the leaf compound. That all gets turned into compost and then gets reused. Nature is a wonderful provider, but crocuses coming up in the grass. Within a few weeks this will most likely be a sea of colour if the weather holds. Cabbages I have left and you can see that they have been chewed here, because although this is on the outskirts of a town, I have had muntjac deer coming into the garden in desperation throughout the worst part of the winter, so I like to leave something for them as well. So this then is the garden. This is, on this spiritual journey, what I will be saying goodbye to. So it might seem very much like a paradise, which in many ways it is, but this path is taking me on a different route, and one where I want to be as effective as I can and best service I can be. See, even old terracotta roof tiles have got used as a retaining wall here, and have one rose out here. Now the sun's coming out, so just another brief look, and want to make a second part to this video. What are we up to here? 4 minutes. So yeah, I'll carry it. This is the herb garden. Still got plenty of sage that survived the winter, and winter flowering pansies. So that is that. So the second part of the video, this is where I make, or have made, most of the videos, sitting in this chair here with this background. The second part, what I'd like to talk about, it's more something that other YouTube channels will be very much, I think, aware of, in that when you get these spiritual downloads, how it feels like you're going to explode. And it's best to get the information out, I think, in the moment, as and when it comes to you. And I'd like to share also a dream, as it were, not something I have exactly had a dream about, but I'm going to just pick out a couple of channels as an example of this. Now imagine you're listening to a channel such as Maz on Roots channel, and she talks about her experience of this awakening on this spiritual path. And then you may go to Pippi on a String, who does some awesome card readings by zodiac sign, and I can say for the readings she's done in the last few videos have been, well, they might as well have been a personal reading. And then perhaps listening to maybe a truth-seeking channel or another spiritual channel, and from that you in turn are inspired, or something just clicks into place and all comes together, and or guides away that you can figure out maybe a problem in your life through it, find your own path through the wisdom of these other channels. So that would be a dream that we have a sort of linked inspiration, I suppose it would be the best term, and builds on our own thoughts and ideas. It's amazing as well how the synchronicity of ideas will come about, how you'll get an idea and concurrently somebody else totally independent will also have a similar idea, and or if you're a channel and video creator, you may put a video out and then find that another channel has concurrently covered the same subject. And this is the beauty of this collective consciousness. Something I did forget to mention, I was watching UAP channel and he was showing what was a 600-year-old tree. Absolutely criminal, and yeah, I'd say that was killed off. And how can you have these headstones around this tree? That beautiful maple tree at the bottom of the garden, that will start getting leaves soon, which will go green and then turn to that beautiful dark red as we progress more towards late spring and then into summer. And yeah, the tree roots there are just below the, and some of them you can actually see in the grass. So the idea of them putting in coffins and burying them 6 or 8 foot below ground, that close to that tree, is, I would say, almost impossible to do. And yeah, there's definitely something in that. So I will try and remember the link to that video. I'm still partway through watching it, but I thought I'd just add that in, my own personal thoughts on that ties in with what UAP is saying. So this is the thing with this spiritual path. I mean, probably a lot of you will look at this and say, oh wow, how wonderful. And yes, it is wonderful. And in reply to another comment I've had recently, although I don't when it's this cold and wet, but I don't know if that's show. I don't wear socks, and normally outside I don't wear any footwear either. This connection to nature, I mean, we have fingerprints which are individual, and we have lines all over our palms, and I've suggested they are very much like the rings you find in a tree within the wood. And we are innate, so we are in nature, we are a part of nature. So I think that is very important to keep that contact. There is nothing better, particularly in the summer when it's far warmer than it is now, although it's not actually cold today, but to just stand there when it's light at say 5 o'clock in the morning, very few people are about, and you can just stand there and feel the grass on the soles of your feet, and you can feel that sunlight. I said that the scales in some ways can be seen as the sun and the moon. You can also think of it as like a spiritual father and mother, and perhaps, as is suggested and is often said, we are children of God. Well, perhaps then we are reuniting a spiritual family if we take it as being Mother Earth and God the Father, and we are the children in between. We are all connected in that way. So I'll leave that there. I was hoping that there's a coconut filled with it's what they call a fat ball for blue tits. They seem to come earlier in the day. They will often come up under this canopy and find all sorts of little insects. I've seen as many as 16. Normally there are blackbirds. They've migrated. They should start coming back. There is one pair stood around. The robins, that's probably what you could hear out there. Pigeons, there's the occasional woodpecker. Coal tits, finches, sparrows have made a return. There's all sorts of variety, and the wonderful dragonflies in the summer. So I would encourage any of you to have some sort of water feature or pond. It makes for a lovely area to sit, and if you've got one of these little motors with the trickling water over pebbles as well, then that can be very relaxing and very tranquil. So I will say ta-ta for now, until the next video.